Welcome back. Now let's take a closer look at the politics surrounding this bushfire emergency, with Scott Morrison coming under increasing fire for his handling of the emergency. Joining us live now is Sky News political editor Andrew Clennell. Andrew, it appears Scott Morrison will likely cancel his upcoming trip to India because of the fires.
It very much appears that way, Annalise, with the Prime Minister saying there'll be a National Security Committee phone hookup tomorrow morning, and his clear inclination is to cancel that trip. And I guess what was going through the Prime Minister's mind, he's obviously come to this conclusion this afternoon, having wavered a tiny bit on it this morning, was the fact the fires could go on, and he might not be in a Hawaiian shirt in Hawaii in the TV pictures, but he'd be in India being celebrated by Narendra Modi in a ceremonial style. And the entire time he'd be dogged by questions about fires, and that would have kind of rendered the trip a little pointless in a lot of respects. But let's hear what Scott Morrison had to say about that in Bairnsdale this afternoon.
Well, the National Security Committee has got a hook-up actually in the morning on this. I'm inclined not to proceed with that visit. And there are some issues that I just need to resolve formally through what you'd expect when you make a decision of that nature, to work through those issues with the other ministers. But that is my inclination at this point. I think I'll make a further announcement on that and we'll make the arrangements accordingly.
And Andrew, Scott Morrison was also addressing the incident at Cobargo yesterday where he was heckled by people hit by the fires. Yeah, again, just like yesterday, I thought kind of an uncustomary humility from Scott Morrison, who's usually a pretty confident chap. Let's have a listen to what he had to say about that sort of heckling that occurred yesterday.
People are angry, and they will, if people want to direct that at me, or that is up to them. It's not something that will distract me. It is something that I will empathise with. It is something that I understand. It's not something for me to take personally. My job is to stay focused on ensuring that we have the maximum coordination of effort across many states.
These criticisms have come from your own party.
No, it's the same answer.
With all due respect, it didn't seem like you were supporting them. When a woman expressed her concerns, there was a bit of an awkward moment, you walked away. Is that really offering support? No,
well, I stood there with the same lady that you're referring to, and we talked about what she was asking for, which was a greater support for the firefighting effort in that part of New South Wales, and so we talked about that.
That's kind of not what happened, I have to say, Annalise. I mean, the Prime Minister basically turned his back on that woman and walked away, and it was a mistake. And I'm sure deep down he knows that was a mistake, and that's why his rhetoric's really quite soft today on it. And he says he understands the anger, he doesn't take it personally, and he'll keep saying that over and over again because he wants the thing to be history. And I'm sure we'll see in coming days a bigger national response to this bushfire emergency, because the Prime Minister will want those images forgotten.
Certainly didn't look very much like a conversation in the vision we saw. But just finally, Andrew, Mr Morrison revealing he's apologised to New South Wales Transport Minister Andrew Constance for not informing him of his visit.
Again, pretty uncustomary stuff from Scott Morrison. He'd usually dig in, even if he had someone criticising him on his own side of politics, which is the case here. But instead he rings the guy and apologises. Let's hear what he had to say on that.
Oh, look, I've known Andrew for a long time, and I've reached out to him today. And Andrew, like so many in that part of New South Wales, I mean, his neighbour lost his own property there, and he's been defending his own property there. He's deeply part of that community, and so I can understand how Andrew would be feeling at the moment, and so I've reached out to him today and offered that apology to him.
There's no doubt in my mind, Annalise, that the Morrison strategy from here will be to turn the worst days for him since the election into something of a victory in terms of how to cope with bushfires and natural disasters in the future. He'll be working now on a real national response and more of a role for federal authorities, I think. And, it's really important to his success that he does something concrete and solid on that, because it's been a terrible few days for the Prime Minister.
Certainly a few lessons to be learned from Morrison camp. I think you're absolutely right. Andrew Clennell, Sky News political editor, thank you for that coverage.